How do you develop this kind of a strong spirit that does not limit the way you approach things?
I really don't know whether I make documentary or fiction separately. I make films. Because for me, filmmaking is the challenge. Viewers should also have some responsibility. So I brought that Polaroid camera and gave it to my continuity guide.
Would you say do whatever you can?
Being a filmmaker, you have to play a different role. Well, aloneness is very important for any creator. पवित्र गंगा में नहा लो, उसके बाद मस्जिद में जाके नमाज पढ़ लो, then बालाजी मंदिर में पूरा दिन शहनाई बजा लो. In our family, all the children must learn sargam or the scales. Why? To become good human beings. So if you make it in Hindi, common people of Telangana will not understand. For some other areas, you have to observe, you have to study, you have to explore.
That's why I think your frames are so exquisite.
Only watching at the mirror, you can't know yourself. I have no different identity as a cameraman or a director. It's combined. What they are losing? The quality of work. Once I thought of becoming a musician.
Do you believe cinema has a universal language?
Life very exciting as a filmmaker. Communication is very important. Language of cinema is universal.
Do you carry the burden because you're the captain of the ship?
I try to explore. The next film will be a silent film. Our assistants were more attentive. I sacrificed that production of fiction film. I've been learning by making films.
What are the main changes that you find?
Cinema was recognized as an art. Even documentary also has a story. Cinema really adapted from literature. The same meal for me, for Shabana, for Shatrughan, and all of them. Why I was born and what I've done all my life only for that little piece of kafan.
Today, on the Creativity Dialogues podcast, we have the honor and privilege of speaking with one of India's most acclaimed filmmakers, Mr. Goutam Ghose. Highly acclaimed with a career spanning over 4 decades. He has a very, very unique distinction of having a wonderful blend of documentaries, feature films, in which he narrates his stories. He directs them, he writes, he gives the music, and the visuals, the cinematography is absolutely stunning. In today's episode, let's unravel what makes Goutam Ghose Goutam Ghose. Let's see what actually comes out of this conversation, which you could interpret in your own way, whether you're an aspiring filmmaker or not. Welcome, Goutam
Thank you
Ghose.
very much. It's indeed a pleasure for me.
Thank you so much for being here. Your films often blur the line between fiction and documentary. Do you see cinema as a medium for storytelling or as a tool for social reflection?
Well, storytelling has a large connotation. Storytelling, parables, it's an age-old thing. It was oral, then, stories were written. So in cinema, in my medium, I think I explore cinematic elements, whether it's a documentary or fiction. And I really don't know whether I make documentary or fiction separately. I make films. Suppose, when I made a film on Ustad Bismillah Khan or on His Holiness the Dalai Lama, they were basically enacting their ideas and experience in front of my camera. Sometime in a true fiction film, in a traditional sense, you have actor
Yeah.
to portray a certain character.
Mm.
So I think in today's world, and things have changed so much with technology. So I think this blurring, as you mentioned, it has become seamless,
Mm.
where really you can bring so-called documentary elements into fiction and vice versa.
Yeah.
So that's very interesting. And also, basically, for me, with this medium, I try to explore so many elements, so many things. And we live in a country, it is multi layered.
Mm.
Sometimes I feel that we live in our country, live in 18th century, 19th century, 20th century, and
Yes.
21st century.
Correct.
All,
All it's all
so
blended.
that's why this country is so fascinating.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that really sort of triggered me to make something which is credible.
Yes.
Whether
Yes.
it has a story, everything, even documentary also has a story.
Yes, very much. And I think this is so interesting what you said that you see both in a very, like your two hands almost,
Yeah,
that both are needed in order to clap or do things.
yeah.
And so, where that reality ends and fiction begins, uh, is an important journey again where fiction begins and reality ends. It's how they integrate because nothing would be meaningful if you only focused on one aspect.
Yeah, actually, for any art, I guess that you combine real, unreal, and surreal, then it becomes a piece of art. But I say that uh, I've met so many films, so called fiction and non fiction. Uh, some films are interesting. I was satisfied, but also I'm not satisfied with many work.
Mm,
And I felt that in cinema, cinema was recognized as an art
yeah.
in the 20s when great mentors and the pioneers like Griffith in the United States or Sergei Eisenstein in Soviet Union, they tried to create a language which finally people recognize
Mm,
it's an art.
mm,
But in my opinion, all my films didn't reach that point of art, which you can't explain. What is that? Like a music, when a musician, they practice, finally looking for the right sa or do, and that when he or she finds that, yes, now I have reached to the right note.
yeah. And then
So
you can ease into the
exactly
poetry.
that for me, it's like that. And I've been learning by making films,
Mhm.
learning and about my society, about my country, even outside. I
Yeah.
made films
Yeah.
abroad. So it's a great experience of life. And with my camera, I think, when I was 12, my maternal uncle gave me a Kodak Brownie camera as a birthday gift.
Mm,
Well, I think now in retrospective, when
yeah.
I think perhaps that was the beginning.
That was the beginning.
Beginning where when we used to go for a picnic or some holiday travel, I used to take photographs.
Mm,
But when I had no film inside, that became my passion. Looking into the frame and looking from the rooftop, looking at the people. And my grandfather, he was an avid reader. He was reading something in the afternoon, and he had very large ears. I could go close to his ears and see it. Perhaps, that was the beginning, that you select your space.
mm,
What you want to see, what you want to avoid.
yeah.
That golden section. Once you get that trip, okay, my God, I have something, I have a tool.
Yeah.
In my frame, I want to explore this world and I want to get educated by doing so.
That's so amazing. That's why I think your frames are so exquisite. I mean, yesterday your movie Parikrama released at the Pune Film Festival,
Yeah.
and I was so charmed by the frames. They were so beautiful, even in a shot which, in a sense, might not have needed that degree of attention, detail. But the frames were so beautiful that it made an ordinary moment out of the ordinary. So I think that the charm of how you have developed and constructed yourself, that becomes very visible in how you create your frames, the way you use your sound. You know, it's very interesting. You spoke about how you really started to develop yourself from the visual point of view of, just creating your frames. You spoke about, the stories, your grandfather. So, how the story part of reading and telling, how did the music evolve for you?
Well, I think cinema is very close to music. Literature has so many things, cinema really adapted from literature. Great films were made out of literary work. But if you see the perception, if you look at the perception, when you read, if you, of course, if you can read, because there are so many people they can't,
Yeah.
uh, um, every letter, word, sentence, it goes to your intellectual perception. Then you create your own visual perception.
Mm,
And it varies from reader to reader.
yeah. Because
Okay,
you imagine it differently. You're in
absolutely.
your own
That
way.
is from literature. When you read, cinema is just the opposite. You see, that's a visual perception. Later, with your intellectual perception, as you said just now, you analyze the nuances. Why this music?
And you
Why
can
this frame?
and reimagine
Yeah,
the
that's very
experience.
interesting. So,
Yeah, yeah,
music is very close to music. Music, when you listen to music, it you don't know it doesn't go intellectually first.
yeah.
In your it
Absolutely.
hits your
It
emotion,
just touches you. It,
your
it
your nervous system.
yeah,
You know,
response to it.
it's sort of get entwined
Yes.
with the tune of the music.
Did you
Then
learn?
later on, if you love music, if you study music, you find out why the singer didn't touch the pancham, or perhaps he or she touched it so subtly that you don't notice.
Yes. All the
Yeah,
little
yeah. So I
details.
think in cinema there are certain elements where you make it explicit, sometimes very implicit.
Mm.
Then on the second viewing, a good audience, good viewers will find, and I think that's a challenge. Always the filmmakers, great filmmakers. I'm not so great small filmmakers, but I think we must throw challenge even to the viewers,
Yes.
because for
Very.
me filmmaking is the challenge, but viewers should also have some responsibility to
This is
share that
very
challenge.
important.
I give you an example for Parikrama. A lot of people ask me why you have used that soprano voice even in the backdrop of Indian village. I said, look, that's a very interesting question. Yesterday, a young girl asked me.
Mhm, mm.
It's a very interesting question, but now you have to study. Why? First of all, study the music. It's from Vivaldi's opera. In the opera, was the story of the opera? Sea monsters have eloped a beautiful princess
Mm,
and confined her in a place. And the young prince comes and rescues her.
mm.
So here, I think Narmada river, the holy river, is somehow,
How
it's a very,
wonderful.
the monsters have sort of uh,
Yeah, yeah.
made her uh, under their control. And through the film, I want to release her
How
for
beautiful.
eternity.
So
So
beautiful.
that's why I used those soprano voice is kind of a cry of Mother Narmada.
And again, you were tying together the
Exactly.
story, which is both a
Yeah.
Italian and an Indian
Exactly.
combination.
That's
So
why.
it came together so beautifully
Because the
and seamlessly.
film has Italian perception and Indian perception,
Yeah, yeah.
and I
And so
said,
I'm glad you didn't separate them.
no,
You
and
tried to
I like
integrate it.
eclectic view in visual art. It's very
Mm,
interesting.
mm.
So here, this eclectic view, whether it's of Alexandro, the Italian filmmaker, or the little Indian boy Lala.
Yeah.
So I think these are the things. You don't create confusion. You present it in such a way that uh, it becomes a little challenge for the
Yeah.
viewers to rediscover something.
Yeah.
Some nuances, you find maybe in the next
Yeah.
viewing.
And
Yesterday, a very important and veteran journalist, Swapan Ghosh, from Statesman, from about many, many, many years, he said that this is my second viewing because film has it will be released. It has very limited
mm,
screening were done in some festivals
mm,
and also another few festivals. You see that in the second viewing, I found something more interesting, which I didn't because when you look at the cinema and cinema, it's not a cerebral exercise, but it has
yes.
if you wish to.
That's so true. And, especially this is something that I have always experienced from your movies that I can never go to watch the movie and come back unchanged. It's something which is actually generally overwhelming. It's not the experience I get when I just go for entertainment, to just go and watch an entertaining movie. Just don't think. With your movies, I'm challenged as well. Like you're challenged with making it, as a viewer, I'm challenged with the experience of processing all those new thoughts, the new emotions, and just the new learnings. So, after your movie, for a while, I'm left quite overwhelmed, just taking it in. And then you realize, after some time. So, actually, even your last year's movie is still lingering in my mind because it's kind of you undertake the journey.
Rahagir,
Yeah.
wayfarers. Yeah.
But we too undertake the journey with you. And I think that is what is so magical and so relevant
And
because,
also after Rahagir, the young people,
yeah, yeah,
they said uh, it's such a feel-good film.
yeah.
Finally, they could rescue
Yes, yes,
those old
yeah,
couple.
yeah.
So I think that's very important. Why I made Rahagir? Because the whole world, our human race, is becoming inhuman day by day.
Mhm,
War, conflict, violence, and just imagine, you you look at the newspaper that children kill their parents for property.
mhm,
So I thought, let's make a film which is a humanist film.
mhm.
The common man, these characters were very simple people, but how their humanity saved an old couple.
Yeah, yeah,
That's why for the young people, they said it's a very feel good film.
yes,
So, as you said, you are overwhelmed. And cinema, I think cinema can do it.
yeah.
Makes you to another world.
It teaches you so much.
Yeah.
Actually, it teaches you how to see, how to perceive,
Yes.
how not to ignore so many very, very relevant and important issues, which many a times we've numbed ourselves. And it takes somebody who consciously walks against the path to bring this information to us in a way which is entertaining, engaging, so that we understand really, what the issue is in a way that can easily be understood and forces us as a viewer to start to think about this.
Well, when I was very young, as a filmmaker, I was learning film. Still, I'm learning. Uh, I was thinking that with cinema, you can change the society, change the world, but we couldn't.
Mm,
What we could do, all the filmmakers for the last 120 years or so, or a little less, we have recorded the memories of time.
mm.
That is very, very
Yes,
important.
very
It
important.
reminds me of a very beautiful line of Pushkin,
Mm.
Alexander Pushkin. Everything is a sacrifice to your memory, isn't it?
Beautiful, beautiful.
So I think
Yeah,
that is cinema.
yeah,
Cinema is you can record memories of time.
yes.
That's fantastic. That's why this medium is so powerful. Well, now, of course, as it evolved from silent to sound, then black and white to color, you see, cinema was much more abstract in the beginning.
Yeah.
In painting, from realism, extreme realism, Renaissance art, I'm talking about the Western
Yes,
art.
yes, yes.
Of course,
From
even
the
India
15th
also.
century, the classical, yeah,
Indian
yeah.
art has uh, a different connotation
Hmm. Hmm.
altogether. Oriental art, but there what had to happen from realism, they had come to abstraction,
Yeah,
even surrealism.
yeah.
In cinema, it's just opposite. It was originally abstract, silent. Then slowly, it is becoming too much realistic.
Mm.
3D cinema, as if everything is happening around you.
Yeah.
Because only of technology. Technology has given the strength to create super realism.
Mm.
But sometimes super realism is really disturbing.
Yeah.
But what to do, because technology is
Is
giving.
advancing,
And
yeah.
often we forget that why so many things have evolved from silent to sound, then color, then analog to digital. Because the creators, the filmmakers, they're creating. They've been creating for many years. But technologists are not sitting idle.
They too
They
are.
are also working something a new innovative
Yeah.
things.
Yes.
But in between, there is a market force which is invisible. We don't know, understand.
Mm. Mm.
Market force says no silent film sound,
Mm.
no black and white color, no analog digital.
Mm.
So if it was born with that kind of
Yeah.
dichotomy.
Yes.
Now
Yeah.
you see audiovisual everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
You get up in the morning from the bed, audiovisual in your phone. When you go to bed, audiovisual in your phone. So how now it's a challenge for the filmmakers, at least I think,
Yeah. Yeah.
how to separate cinema from so-called audiovisual.
Yes.
That's the biggest challenge.
And how do you process that?
Well,
Because
that's why I think I try to visualize this film. I try to feel a subject which can inspire me, maybe a uh, incident, social factors, social economic
mm,
factors,
mm,
maybe something very human factors, factors of certain human feelings. So there are so many ways. Really, it's very difficult how you get inspired. But it's sometimes the moment you get inspired, you're there to make a
yeah.
film.
So do you find your stories or do they find you?
Well, sometimes they find me. Sometimes I'll find.
Sometimes you find them. Yeah.
It happens because
Yeah.
I made a film called Perception. It's about uh, seeing. It's about uh, a man, and it is very close to my milieu. The film, my uh, middle class or upper middle class milieu. So in that film, I was, very comfortable because knew everything, every
Mm,
detail.
mm,
Because throughout my life process, I knew the characters. So I enjoyed making the film, but sometimes I explored that area, as you sort of mentioned here, that underprivileged or marginalized people,
mm, mm.
because I try to explore how they live, their art, their deep rooted culture, their struggle. Whether a lot of I asked so many people, very poor, do you have a struggle? Well, no, sir.
Yeah. See how different it is
Yeah,
that in fact, it's very
and
interesting.
we say marginalized.
Yeah.
Who's marginalized? Perhaps us. We are marginalized. And that guy, I remember in a tribal area said, uh, "How do you live? It is a very difficult life." Well, no, we are very happy. We have
It's so
everything.
different. But because you say this, I have to
Then,
mention.
then what happens?
Uh,
You try to explore why,
yeah. Yeah.
really, what their struggle.
Yeah.
Sometime I also try to show their struggle as a metaphor,
Yeah.
like in Paar,
Yeah.
Shabana Nasir
Yeah.
crossing the river. Crossing the river is a test of endurance,
Yeah.
and it's again a very metaphoric
Yeah.
entire
Yeah.
climax of the film.
Before we move ahead, because what you mentioned right now was very relevant. I kind of experienced that last year. I was in Liverpool, UK,
Yeah,
with my cohort of my PhD cohort, and we were traveling, and there was a lady from the United States with me, and she was telling me that she had visited India just 2, 3 before the pandemic, and she said that she and her daughter came down, and she said we were traumatized. So I said, why? She said we have never seen a world that lives like this. And she said we would go into our hotels, which were so fabulous, so, so comfortable. And she said we would come on the streets, and she said we would see the poor people, beggars, the society at large. And she said me and my daughter would come home, and she said we have spent one night just crying because we
yeah,
felt, how do people live like this? And for a minute I was blown away with that perception. And then I thought, you're misunderstanding them. They might be on the road, but they're not really unhappy. They are
yeah,
probably more happy than you are in your hotel room crying for them, because you're
absolutely.
busy in the mind,
Yeah.
making up some mind-made things about about a lot of things. But they're just living in the moment, and they might not be as unhappy. And so, this just triggered that thought in me.
Exactly. It's demeaning
Yeah,
about disparity,
yeah,
huge
yeah,
disparity.
yeah.
Uh, but at the same time, uh, we shouldn't say that, oh, these people are, impossible. You can't change them. No, because, they're poor, they're struggling, but I'm sure they also carry some happiness.
For sure they do.
Sure.
In fact, they are less troubled
Yeah.
than the others, and so they find their joy in the simplest of things. And we need a lot to feel happy. I think they need very little to feel happy.
Yes, in your questions, I've seen that about, whether cinema can become political.
Mm.
Well, I made my first fiction film is a highly political film. It's on the uh, peasant struggle of Telangana during the Nizam's rule. It was a huge armed struggle took place, and it continued for from 42 till 1948 after the annexation of Hyderabad by Union Government of India. That was a film, where I'd shown particularly the huge feudal exploitation of the Zaigirdars and the Zamindars, landlords of Telangana. And film was a big success commercially. Because, I'm sure that when the film was released in 1980, still people are living who had encountered that struggle
Mm.
or had the memories of that struggle.
Mm.
So that was a very political film. But uh, for me, again, I want always right from the beginning, I wanted to expand my spectrum, that I don't want to repeat.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay, I made a film, political film on Telangana, but I don't want to branded the activist filmmaker. There are so many, I regard them
yeah.
absolutely.
They
Like
stay
I
on that
regard
track.
Anand Pattabardhan. He had made some very important films,
Mm.
and he's an activist. But for me, always I try to change myself to try to find out another areas where I can explore.
This is where I have to ask you on the importance of, reinvention, because so many people get very complacent, especially
Yeah.
when they have successes, because there's a tendency to feel, I have found my formula now. Now this is who I am. This is where my strengths are. And without realizing, they succumb to that comfort zone which gets created. How did you not do that?
Well, it's a slippery slope, absolutely slippery slope.
Mm.
I've seen many filmmakers after getting one or two national awards,
Yeah.
they got so pampered by their stooges, almost, I say, that after that they couldn't continue.
Mm.
But that never happened with me.
Yeah.
Perhaps, because
And
of
with the amount of national awards, how many? Like you
uh,
can't count them.
16, 17,
Oh
I
my
don't
gosh,
remember now.
that is insane.
My daughter
And
can say now. She has all the
she's keeping.
records.
Yeah.
But, right from the beginning, because that's, I think, your upbringing, your family. So I was lucky to be born in a very cultured family where you develop taste, develop values that don't get carried away with fame.
Mm,
Because, the moment you get carried away, you are finished.
yeah.
My mother said, always try to find out a better thing, try to find out a better tune in life.
Mm,
Why, they taught us music. Music means, not for to become musician,
yeah.
but, in our family, all the children must learn sargam or the scales. Why? To become good human being.
Oh, wonderful.
Really.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's true. I've seen the great classical
Yeah.
musicians. I've seen Rosad Bismillah Khan, such a wonderful man. Now we talk about secularism, this and that. I found the best secular person was Bismillah. He said that पवित्र गंगा में नहा लो सुबह, that was our habit. उसके बाद मस्जिद में जाके नमाज पढ़ लो, देन बालाजी मंदिर में पूरा दिन शहनाई बजा लो.
Yeah. But
It's
such an
not it not
evolved.
it's not
Yeah.
imposed secularism or something like that.
Yeah.
It's India.
You've worked in multiple languages and across cultures. Do you believe cinema has a universal language? Or do regional nuances shape how stories should be told?
Well, I think I worked with cinema language. Of course, the spoken words, sometime in Telugu, sometime in Hindi, many times in Bengali, and also Italian in this film.
Yeah.
Those are spoken lines. But language of cinema is universal because the most powerful thing in cinema is cinematic time, which
Mm,
is universal and unchanged despite technology change. Uh, you can tell a story of 1,000 years in 2 hours.
mm,
You can tell a story of 2 hours in 2 hours.
yeah.
You can tell a story of 5 minutes in 3 hours. So that's the power of cinema, where you can expand or squeeze time.
Mm,
So I think that is the secret of or the strength of cinema, which is unchanged. Like Saregama Padanisa, then five Komal
mm,
minor,
yeah.
same all over the world. All over the world, there's 12 notes, including the
Mm,
minors. So cinema's time is universal. So is
that's
the language.
amazing. Yeah. Yeah.
So I think, only thing that when I worked in a Telugu film for Mabhumi, my first film, I had very good interpreters.
Mm,
That's very important. You need very intelligent and sensible interpreters. Then I directed my Telugu actors in English or in Hindi
mm,
because in Hyderabad,
yeah.
common people they understand
Correct.
Urdu Hindi
Mm,
because it was under the Nizam rule for many years.
mm, mm,
So I had no problem at all. Initially, a lot of people asked me, Gautam, this is your debut film
yeah.
and you are making in a language you don't know. Because, for the film, I told the producer, why don't you make it in Hindi? At least I understand Hindi, even I can read Hindi. But no, the film, you're planning to make a film on Telangana peasant uprising. So if you make it in Hindi, common people of Telangana will not understand.
Mm,
I had no problem at all. When I shot in Italy, of course, I had a good interpreter. So these are spoken words, but language of cinema is same.
mm,
And sometimes I feel that people say, and when we asked for the censor certification for this film,
mm,
the officials said, "Sir, it's a big problem. There is a column that language. in Indian
You have to,
language,
yeah, for it has to have one official kind of.
one language. I say, but in my film, there are three languages. But this is unprecedented. So what to do? So I said, you write language of cinema.
Exactly. That's how it is.
Yeah, it
Actually, it's the
is.
language of life. And that then it comes to
And then I
cinema.
told her, and that guy was very sensible and, well, I understand, but because in our rules, there's only one language you have to write. Then I told him, look, the best thing, the next film will be a silent film. No hassle.
That's safe. You don't need any language. But tell me, how do you, push these boundaries? Where is the spirit of such an adventurous person who doesn't fear, who does, because when you embark like this,
Yeah,
really the challenges are so unknown. You
yeah.
have no idea exactly to what extent you would have to face challenges and just like reach a zone where you can't move forward. How do you develop this kind of a strong spirit that does not limit the way you approach things?
Well, whenever I did some project, I tell you about a very interesting project. It's a almost 5 hour long film in five parts, shown in Discovery for many years in the late 90s, beyond the Himalayas. Because it was the result of our expedition. Major Alwalia organized from Delhi, organized an expedition along Central Asia, China, Tibet, and come back to India by road. 14,000 kilometers travel. Uh, so he requested me, if you could you come and make a film. I'm like, I'll jump. It's a great, in those days in the 94, visiting Central Asia was very difficult,
Mhm.
getting the permissions and all that. And then I started reading about the ancient Silk Route. And, you know, by reading and doing research, you are at least sure about your subject.
Mm,
You know certain kind of cultural or ethnicity of a particular
mm,
place,
mm.
but you don't know what you're going to encounter.
That's what I was wondering, that you
There
can
you need
only know that much.
courage and confidence. And well, whatever may be, you have to face. So we had many troubles with people. They didn't understand us. In one place, a group of Uyghur tribes, attacked us because they thought that zoom lens is a gun, because they never seen a camera like
Yeah, yeah,
before.
yeah.
They'd never seen a cinema before in that area.
So which is you have to
But
kind
I
of
was
get them
rescued
to learn.
rescued by our
Yeah.
interpreter Guli. I still remember her name, beautiful name Guli,
Good.
and she sort of explained
Mm,
them.
mm,
So there are so many things, and also very interesting. We were traveling in Turpan area, where the temperature was 52 degrees
wow.
Celsius. Just imagine. And
Insane.
by the nightfall, we reached Tien Shan Mountain, which is -2. So
Just like
this is, I knew it
it's
by
physically
reading.
so challenging.
Exactly, I knew it by reading, doing research. But when you face with your camera, with your sound, is something else. And then it becomes a kind of exhilaration.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It must be ending in that. But how do you, like you yourself have that inner strength, that drive, and that seeking? How do you motivate your crew? Because, everyone may not be willing to walk that extra mile the
Exactly.
way you are.
Yeah, yeah.
How do you
Well,
handle
I
that?
tell you about this. We were allowed only 4 people.
Oh,
Yeah, because it was part of the expedition where scientists were there, archaeologists, and many other kinds, people from other profession and faculty.
mm.
So a friend of mine became the co-producer from England, Michael Hajjaj. He was the son of Robert Hajjaj, who produced great Hollywood films, uh, many Elsie and so many films, so
Mm,
many films.
mm.
Michael, is originally a Jew, but he had converted himself to a Buddhist.
Oh,
So he said, "Oh my God! So your route is actually old Buddhist route."
mm,
Uh, Zhuan means Yuan Zhang came through that route. So I'll come. And he had a production company. So he joined us with the equipment. He brought one 16 BL camera and a sound recorder. Then I was looking for a backup camera, a video camera. On those days, Betacam was only available, Betacam. Just before that, Ramesh Sharma from Delhi, he was making a documentary, a kind of a television encounters or face to face with important filmmakers of India. The one little young guy, he came with a camera, Ramesh's camera, to interview me in Calcutta. A very energetic guy. I said that, can I hire this camera for an expedition? Well, you can ask Ramesh sir, if he allows. Will you come with us? Yes, I will. It's a chance of a lifetime. And after that, he also assisted me in one of my features. Then he became a famous filmmaker, Kabir Khan.
Oh,
He was part of my unit.
so interesting.
So we were four of us, me, my assistant Vijay Anand, Jagannath Go passed away, and four of us with two cameras. So, and we thought we have to work hard.
Mm.
Sometime, I was putting the sort of lapel mic here and operating the camera.
Wow.
And another assistant was recording sound. So, that's why uh, you have to be multitasking,
Yeah.
for,
Yeah.
for this kind of project. So it went well, and it was a great experience. It's not only about our expedition, but journey back in time,
Mm.
in history.
Mm.
So it took quite some time to finish the film, because after the expedition, I had to work in different archives of the world, in Swedish archive, in British archive. So for me, these adventures are a great lesson.
Yeah. Oh,
Otherwise, I wouldn't have known
yeah.
about Central Asia.
Correct.
And I found the trail, how music traveled. Rabab traveled to India and finally became Sarad.
Mm.
How kebabs, there's no masala in the kebabs of Kashgar, traveled, and as it came to India, it went on putting masala, and becomes our kebab.
Mm.
So,
So
it's
much of learning, right?
so much
So
of
much of
learning,
learning.
that
But,
exactly I like.
I really wonder that in the earlier times, because,
Yeah.
you've seen generations evolve, what are the main differences you find in the attitudes and approach of the youth today as per what they were earlier on, when we didn't have a culture that was so distracted? There were no devices, and we didn't have this overload of information. What are the main changes that you find?
I look, sometime when I think deeply, that when we were shooting without monitor, without any other support, great films were made like that. Our assistants were more attentive.
Yeah.
So uh, the continuity and everything, they used to draw, and actors were also very, very attentive about their own continuity,
Yeah, yeah.
because and that was normal practice. I remember in one of my films, if, my European distributor had given me a very interesting gift, a Polaroid camera. Okay, I was making
Where
Antarjali
you'd
Jatra.
get instant pictures like you
Yes.
click. Because today's generation, I'm not sure if they are. Of course, today with digital, they get to
Yeah,
see it as they
immediately,
click.
immediately,
So
but instantly.
it's,
Well, so I brought that Polaroid camera and gave it to my continuity guy. He was so excited. Oh, Dada, it's a great thing. Immediately I can show the continuity to my
yeah, yeah,
actors. Otherwise, they used to draw, but that was perfect. And without a monitor, I shot films after films, because only after it, because it was a photochemical process.
mm,
After it gets processed in the lab, then you come to know about the result.
mm,
But barring one or two few mistakes, nothing happened.
yeah. I think there's a magic about that surrender and
Yeah.
attentiveness where you're so involved that it turns out right
Exactly.
somehow.
Yeah, but because of technology, of course, then even in the sound department, uh, I was present while doing the track laying because it was all magnetic track laying. You have to cut and join. I was present. Now, in my last film, my sound designer said, "No, no, no, sir, you don't have to come in Mumbai.
Mm.
That we lay the track, you come and do the correction." I will know that's a waste of time. Better I sit with you and do the final thing because I know exactly what I want.
You're always willing to walk that extra mile
Exactly,
and complete. And I think that that's the
and
passion.
and also love. That
Love, love.
it's of course it's a collective medium, but after all, the director is the captain of the ship, and it's your baby. If you make a mistake, people will say it. Not it's a mistake. Not it's a mistake of sound designer. It's your mistake.
Mm. Do you carry the burden because you're the captain of the ship? So you carry the burden of
Yeah,
every department turning
absolutely.
right.
So that's why you have to take care of each and every department, and it's
But
like,
when you say that, a bigger question comes to me that how do you take care of yourself? Because, when you have to show up for everybody, every department, how do you make sure that you're in the right frame of mind? Your approach is because you're just taking on the burden of everybody's.
yeah, but then it becomes reciprocal
Hmm.
because the unit members feel that this man is working hard and with full
So much of
passion,
passion, yeah.
and then it's like an orchestra.
Hmm.
uh, the conductor with his baton
He
sort of,
brings the energy to
if
everyone.
one violin goes out of tune, gone.
It's gone.
Again, you have to do it.
Yeah.
So it's like that, you have to uh, tune the entire unit.
Mm.
If the tuning is perfect, then I think, you go smoothly.
Do you believe a filmmaker must live the experience that they portray, or can empathy and observation be enough?
I think both. Sometimes I think, you have to live through that experience. What in future you will go to portray, because that is very important to understand the situation, the people, their psyche, their culture. You have to live through.
Mm.
And also, sometime, when you make a film about your own milieu, that you already have been there
Yeah,
for years
yeah.
since your childhood. And for some other areas, you have to observe, you have to study, you have to explore. I think these are the combination. Then it becomes uh, life very exciting as a filmmaker, not monotonous.
Mhm.
And then you become little bit, I've seen that some people, I have nothing against them, the same go on making the same kind of
Yeah.
thing.
In fact, they are known for a particular genre,
Yeah,
love
yeah,
stories or
yeah.
action films. I mean,
Continuously that,
yeah,
I appreciate, their
yeah.
passion. But for me, I think you I keep on changing, uh, for new experience,
And frankly,
to
I think
learn, because
that's how you've kept evolving and
exactly.
staying
And
relevant.
also I mix up with people from other faculty,
Mm.
literary person, musician, painter, folk artist. That's great. Otherwise,
Yeah, I
you
think
get,
your mind gets so limited.
and it's quite claustrophobic only if you live with cinema people.
Yeah, yeah,
Some people,
yeah.
they are used to it, but I can't.
Mm.
So maybe after some film which was very successful, the producer said, Dada, why don't you start another one? We are ready.
Yeah.
No, I want to explore Rajasthan. For 1 year, I made a documentary on Rajasthan. Of course, film was recognized. It got the President Gold Medal, the National Award. But for me, it was a great education.
Yeah.
I sacrificed that production of fiction film because I said, no, I need some a different experience in
Mm, mm.
life. They've always been like that.
How did you at the beginning of the journey, where, finances are something that people have to keep in mind? There's so many people who want to do this, but they get bogged down with the idea that how do I make a living while pursuing my passion.
Yeah.
So, how did you navigate the financial aspect as you were
Well, my
aspiring?
navigation was uh, not always very smooth,
Mm.
sometimes turbulent. But I was very conscious that I have to earn money from my family, and at the same time, I have to create something. Uh, Fortunately, my first film was a big commercial success.
But before that,
But
how did
before
you
that, I
survive that?
made ad films.
So, you started to do ad films. Is that a good way for new people who are trying to get in?
Yes, I
Is that an
learned so
avenue?
many things
Yeah,
while doing ad films,
yeah.
industrial films, and also radio jingles, whatnot.
Would you say do whatever you can? Would
Yeah,
that be a good thing to do until you get to the work you would actually
exactly,
like to do?
exactly,
Just
exactly.
do whatever comes your way. How about
Absolutely.
if it's not film related at all? Would you still recommend that that too is fine?
Yes, of course.
Yeah,
Why always film related?
yeah.
There are so many other things. I also did some time photojournalism uh, in Mumbai,
Mm,
in Bombay.
mm,
Uh, so that's for my living,
yeah.
to contribute something
And
to the
eventually
family.
that must have also brought some benefit to your filmmaking, although it might not be directly related.
Yes,
But
absolutely. I learned each and everything, while doing that. Even my friend Manmohan Shetty, is a legendary character in the. He was the owner of Ad Labs.
mm,
We grew up together, doing the small little lab work inside Basant Lab. There was a small lab. So by that, I learned so many things because clients are coming. Tomorrow, my producer said, you have to make ready. In those days, many ad films were about cigarettes.
mm,
ITC was
yeah.
a big sponsor
Mm,
for ad films. So, but we had to work hard, do the cut, everything ready for the clients to watch,
mm.
to suggest. And there was a very interesting filmmaker, great documentary maker, S. Subdev. He said, Gautam, you show your thing to the client. If they don't like, you say, I'll do it again. You will find then says, no, 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 no. You just do little change.
Mm.
But you have to be aggressive with the client. You must say, do it, I'll do it again. So those are the
So
fantastic
I think you
experience.
learned so much about communication too,
Yeah,
because as a filmmaker, especially when you're new, the idea of going out convincing people, how do you handle rejections,
yeah.
how do you still keep going? So I think that this whole communication thing, it sounds like you were learning along the way.
Absolutely, absolutely. Communication is very important. You have to communicate. Some people are a little shy
Yeah, I feel
communicating.
that is
That is,
that can hold one back so
yeah,
much.
sometime. But also, if they are, sometimes they find out their own way of communication.
Yeah. That's beautifully
That's
put.
beautiful.
That
Yeah,
even, if you feel you're shy, you're reserved, you find, because I was speaking with Binod Pradhan just a
yeah,
few days back, and the first thing he kept saying, I'm very shy, I don't talk. And that is what I wondered. Still, you've worked with the biggest filmmakers.
yeah,
So he said, no, I found my way. I was just so involved in the work that whenever it came to talking about the work, I don't have a problem.
yeah.
So, but otherwise, I can't do social conversations. And
Yes, yes.
so it was very well that you said people find their way. Even if
Absolutely.
even if they're quiet, if you're serious in your intention, you will find the way.
And being a filmmaker, you have to play a different role,
Hmm.
especially with your actors. You have to
Yeah.
understand
Their
their
psyches.
psyche, their idiosyncrasies, all kinds of things. I've worked with big stars. I worked with very good actors, very bad actors.
Wow. That would be interesting to know that how do you keep repositioning yourself with
Because you have to understand. You have to read the mind of that particular actor. What kind of person he is. Of course, with the stars, I said, look, uh, you are a star, a very competent actor, but for my film, you just shed your stardom.
Mm,
Forget it.
mm,
You're a star. You become my character. I'll be happy. And unless you become my character, I won't leave you.
mm.
You have to do it again. Because, this is also very important for a director, how you dictate your terms.
Yeah.
Because you know your goal, and to reach that goal, sometime you have to be ruthless.
Yeah. Yeah.
But always, final thing is friendship.
Yeah.
I become very friendly with my actors.
And so
Right?
they
There are
trust in
many
you.
ways and means
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
handling,
Yeah.
but you have to become friendly. You have to become compassionate.
Mm.
And then you get a good result.
Yeah.
So communication is very important for a filmmaker. You have to communicate. Well, if you are not articulate, you have to communicate in a different way.
Mhm.
You have to write your script very well. Uh, of course, Satyajit Ray was both very articulate and also did his homework so well.
Mhm.
And, I learned so many things from him. He had shown me the script. Each and every shot was written. Of course, he was a great artist.
Mhm.
He had drawn all the frames. Discipline and management of time. Whenever I met him, most of the time he used to call me in the afternoon, between 4:30, and there was no secretary. He used to open the door. But when he was okay, later on he became sick, uh, and always, I heard either some symphony or some other kinds of form music is coming, because his time management was fantastic. 4 to 4:30 or maybe 1 hour, he has to listen to music. And one day I went there and he was listening Gregorian chant.
Wow.
I said, Malinda, Gregorian chant, I read in your uh, sort of not biography.
Mm.
He wrote about his childhood,
Mm.
that when you were 14, your favorite thing was Gregorian chant. Yes, still my favorite. So that's why I'm listening. This is something very, very great lesson. You know, Twinkle, twinkle, little star. It is a childhood thing. Again, if you listen to Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star, it gives me you another feeling.
When you're so passionate, so involved in the details, how do you handle, when the people you work with, it could be your actors,
Yeah.
who sometimes may not show that level of sincerity and commitment when they come? It could be technicians, it could be, and with anyone. Basically, how do you keep your patience, your calm, and still turn around things so that it actually works?
I think, it's very important that your art director, nowadays they call production designer. I don't know why. It came from the United States. This art director, it's very important thing, whether you are working in a set or outdoor, he or she is responsible for each and every detail. And the costume designer, my wife Nilanjana is a costume designer since long, from since my first film.
Mm.
When she started living together with me, we never got married, but lived together all our
Really?
life.
That's so interesting. So
No,
you were like the path breakers or the,
in those days,
in the very
in
much.
the
Yeah,
70s
yeah.
anyway. So she takes care. She's herself is a designer.
Mm,
She takes care of each and every detail of the costume. My art director Ashok Bose passed away.
mm,
He was a great art director. He was a art director of Ray. And then Samir Chanda. She worked in Bombay with Shyam Benegal, with all important
mm,
filmmakers. He also worked with me. He also passed away. My But I find that department is fantastic department, and all the set boys, they're so they're quiet backstage people.
mm.
I respect them a lot,
Yeah.
and I learn from them. When I say you have done something fantastic, only change that. That's all. They're happy.
Mm.
So I think you have to involve in cinema,
Involve them. Yeah.
involve all of them.
Everybody. Yeah.
Because in my second film, first film I had no chance because producers had a lot of trouble with getting money.
Mm.
So uh, it took some quite a long time to finish the film. But after that, they earned huge money. It was a big hit. But after that, for every film, I used to tell my producer and the production controller the same meal for me, for Shabana, for Shatrughan, and all of them. No division.
Mm.
This is a small gesture, but it did work.
Yeah, I think it creates the sense that
Absolutely.
everybody is equally,
Yeah.
into
Yeah.
this.
Sometimes in the units, what
Big
happened?
thing,
In,
yeah. But is there something more also that you do? Like fitness, because
yeah.
that is something which it's very hard. It's also just the energy and the vibe with
Yes,
which
you
you
have to.
carry
You
yourself.
have to be active.
Yeah.
For that, you need to do some kind of fitness exercises and all that.
So
And
what's your daily routine like?
well, I get up early in the morning and do little exercise and all that. And I'm an avid reader. I read books, not in computer, but real
Yeah, because
books.
nowadays we are in the world of audiobooks.
Yeah,
People don't have
audiobooks.
the patience to look at the
No, I
read and
know.
work.
Audiobooks came much early in the 80s in the United States. I remembered that a friend of mine was driving down and said, "You want to listen to Tolstoy? Okay, a cassette."
Imagine.
So, but I still love the smell of the book
Yeah.
and the
And
real
just,
book.
that turning pages. There's
Yes,
something
absolutely.
so relaxing
In my
about that.
opinion, even with the technology change, I didn't discard the earlier one.
Yeah.
In my house, if you come, you can listen to a record. I still maintain that record player. You can listen to a spool
Oh,
recorder.
how lovely.
You can listen to a cassette recorder, a CD
You
recorder.
kept it.
I
Most
kept it.
people have given away
No,
everything.
I
Okay.
kept it.
Mhm.
I think, that's something,
It also keeps rooting you, that you don't get
absolutely
totally lost in
no.
all these every
And
new
also, it's a
thing
kind
that
of a,
comes.
you try to remind people that, well, you see there is this evolution
Yeah.
of technology
Yeah.
and all that, but try to respect the earlier one.
And see where
It
it's
becomes
all come
a kind
from.
of your
Yeah.
collector's item. But I regularly, I tell you, when you, it's very, from my phone I can listen to, we have speaker, any
Yeah.
music.
Yeah.
But cleaning a record, put it there, put the pin down.
There's something sacred, right,
It's
about
very
these things.
sacred,
It's so,
very
which,
sacred.
you don't get when you just
No,
press a button of
no,
YouTube.
no. And very
And
sacred, and you have to listen to the record till the end
yes.
and take it out.
Yeah. You can't just fast forward. Yeah.
No.
You don't. That's,
So I think these small little things makes me very happy.
yeah.
Happiness is the only thing,
Really, it's the ultimate goal of life.
Yeah, yeah.
Whatever we do is for that.
When I
So,
made a film with His Holiness Dalai Lama, I learned so many things.
yeah.
He was not a religious guru.
Mm.
He's so practical and, so human, I think so human, so passionate,
Mm.
and believed in compassion because, uh, in Buddhism, nothing is permanent.
Yeah.
Is the most
Yeah.
important tenet.
Mm.
And each and every molecule is interdependent.
Mm.
That is also another thing is very important in Tibetan Buddhism. So I learned so many things from Bismillah, Dalai Lama as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah. Would you say you're spiritual?
Yes, spiritual, absolutely spiritual.
And how
Spiritual,
have you honed that? Or,
yeah,
um,
because spiritual sort of energy is a very important energy. Each and every human being has that.
mm,
Sometimes, they can't express, but it has.
mm,
You live with that spiritual energy. That is very important. Sometimes we do practice, we try to practice, but only with practice it doesn't come.
it doesn't
It's,
count.
your very
Yeah.
internal
Yeah.
realization that is very important.
And if you have, say, if an error has happened through you, be it in terms of judgment
Yeah.
or some decision that went wrong, How do you deal with that? Do you quickly accept it, move on? Do you keep resisting it? Have there been things you've resisted?
So,
And
sometime I have regret.
mm,
Yes, what I've done is not right.
mm,
Not only in filmmaking, but many other things in
correct.
life.
Yeah.
But I try to overcome, try to correct it,
Mm,
and try to learn.
mm,
I'm a great critic myself of my own film.
mm.
Well, I can't erase like if
Yeah.
I would have written a poem, I can throw it away and write another one. You can't do that in cinema. You can't erase.
You can't. And sometimes maybe that itself is a
Yeah,
path of learning, and it's who one was in that moment. It was a choice made in that
yeah,
moment. And so
absolutely.
there's no right or wrong.
Yeah,
Sometimes you can't every time reach the winning number.
yeah,
Sometimes at that moment, whatever the thoughts were, that seemed the most appropriate choice.
exactly. And
And
after all, you work with machines,
mm,
but it's basically a human work.
mm,
So mistake might be there,
yeah,
and you have to correct the mistake. But in art, a little mistake is part of it.
yeah,
When traditional Persian carpet weavers, it's a very interesting thing. They keep some mistake, some twist, or maybe the embroidery was, they keep it
a little
little
deliberate. Yeah,
deliberately imperfect. Why? Because they feel spiritually that God can only do perfection.
yeah, yeah,
So I must keep one part at least
yeah.
for him.
They even, how
This
lovely.
is so
They
beautiful.
even have this, in Japanese, where,
Yes.
when their beautiful glass breaks,
Yeah.
they don't throw it away.
No.
What they do is they fill it with gold. And that piece now they say, so that it again gets structured
So
back.
beautiful.
And
Wow.
with
Wow.
that, they say that now it's become more beautiful because now, there's something so human that those broken lines, in there you filled it with gold, and now that has become more special.
Absolutely.
It's I think that's
Amazing.
such an
Amazing.
amazing way
Absolutely.
of looking at
This is,
mistakes.
how you care.
Yeah,
You have to love
yeah,
things.
yeah,
Don't throw away.
yeah.
And sometime, my wife says, "Oh my God, these old shoes still, why you are keeping?" I said, "Look, when I wear it, I try to remember with these shoes took me where and where and where."
Yeah. All the distances traveled.
Yes.
We have such a bonding with things that are relevant to us. And today, we are kind of encouraged to get rid of everything, but
That's
it's,
because of this new market economy. Even the manufacturer.
yeah.
In my childhood, they used to call the German things. It's a lifelong, something like that.
Yes,
Now
yes.
that pride has no value.
Now it's just so topical. Yeah.
Otherwise the market economy will not run.
Mm,
So manufacturing process has become such that it will last for some time.
yeah.
Then you discard it.
Even your cell phones. It's
Yes,
like at a time they used to last for years.
true.
Now it's like every year they've set it up in such a way
Even your
that
Apple
it
Power
goes.
Book,
Yeah,
I still have that old one.
yeah.
It's still
It still
perfect.
works.
Only I'm not
It's
getting
the
the
new ones which aren't working
yeah,
because they've been made to encourage the market to keep going.
exactly.
Get rid of it. Get rid
That
of it.
that's the economy,
That's economy.
and without that economy can't thrive.
Since we are discussing creativity, I would like to know your thoughts on loneliness and creativity. Or maybe even a better word than loneliness might be aloneness and creativity. How connected do you think they are?
Well, aloneness is very important for any creator because you have to concentrate, you have to meditate with your subject, and for that you really need uh, quiet, peace, and really undisturbed time. When I do that, I switch off my telephone and everything. Uh, I'm not in a social media. You know why? I have nothing against it. It's a great thing and people can connect and so many things are happening. Only my wife, she's there, so sometimes she shows me something very interesting, maybe a very old photograph sent by a relative about our childhood.
Mhm.
That is fantastic.
Yeah,
It's a great media, but I have nothing against it.
Mm,
But I feel that I need a space for myself.
mm,
I don't want to become an online person
mm.
that immediately I have to react. No, let me think. That's why I never go for this X handle or whatever,
Yeah,
instant reaction. No.
yeah, yeah.
Uh, this is very much personal thing for me because I need to think that what really I have done throughout the day. I need a time
To
before I go to
reflect.
bed.
Yeah.
What good and bad things I have done, what positive and negative things I have done.
Mm,
And this has been my practice for many years.
mm.
And I realize that, our minds, human minds, are full of negative
Yeah,
emotions.
yeah.
How you can overcome this negative emotion with positive ones?
And one is your emotions. Also, because you brought it to this interesting point, how do you deal with negativity that comes from the outside?
This is
It's,
terrible. It disturbs you
yeah,
when you see the children of Gaza. Oh my God! And thanks to the advancement of
yeah.
the
We
medium,
get so
you
much of
you see.
information.
First time we had seen Iraq war bombing of during Iraq war.
Mm.
I was shocked. I said, no, I don't want to see it. So negativity is there because human race. Uh, uh, I think they try great visionary, great thinkers. They try to change, but certain things remain unchanged totally.
Really. And sometimes I think that the more abundance, the more comforts we are experiencing, one would actually think that shouldn't we be happier? Shouldn't we be more content? But in fact, the contrary is happening. That with all the materialistic comforts and entertainments and everything that we are getting, uh, do you wonder why we are not really happier as a given society? And
Yes, I think partly in a consumer economy, you are so much bogged down with consumerism,
mm,
which is very materialistic.
yeah.
For me, I'm not a consumer. I'm a focused
You're a
buyer,
creator.
and
And
also a focused buyer. If I want to buy a piece of Dali, I don't know. Never be able to, or buy a piece of painting or something
yeah,
or an equipment. I do buy. It's not like that. I'm a casual consumer. I'm not
it's
that.
very focused,
Very
deliberate. It's
focused.
with an
Yeah,
intention that you
intentional,
do.
absolutely, and that I try to fulfill
Mm,
and fulfill my desire.
mm.
Uh, but otherwise, I think this is very difficult. You need to have your own space. And what is meditation? That is meditation
Yeah,
within yourself,
the quietness with which you go.
quietness, and how you really understand yourself. Because I made a film called Quest about this Baul and Fakir singers. Their philosophy is fantastic.
Yeah.
You have to find your man of your liking, which is inside you. You have to find yourself. I think it's a very important thing for each and every
In
human
short,
being.
could you describe the bowel theory, which
Baul theory, it's a very interesting Baul,
it's a form of
this sect,
music?
a form of
Yeah.
music. Also they dance,
Mm,
and they're philosophers, and it's very interesting. It came with the remnants of Buddhism from Islam and Vaishnav religion or Vaishnav sect. It's a very interesting alchemy, combination of many philosophies, three religions and many philosophy. The basic philosophy is basically uh, humanist philosophy,
mm.
and you have to learn a human being, and in the process you learn yourself.
Yeah.
That's very important. We don't know, only watching at the mirror you can't know yourself. uh,
This is where we look in the mirror
Yeah,
And there was a very interesting Ghalib sher,
yeah,
which Ghalib says, "Umr bhar Ghalib yahi गलती करता रहा, धूल चेहरे पर थी और आईना साफ करता रहा." So,
fantastic.
this is like, this is
Absolutely.
the truth of life. We are
Yeah,
never willing to go inwards to see
words is very
what is,
important.
why are we getting disturbed? We keep on saying, that person said that.
And
That's why
Galib
I'm
said that
angry. They're,
why I was born and what I've done all my life
yeah,
only for that small little piece of kafan.
yeah, exactly. It's,
So that is the same thing
yeah, yeah,
that you pass sort of your time
yeah,
because we live in a linear time. We don't live in non-linear time, linear time. Not in cyclic time rather.
yeah,
Cyclic time is a concept
yeah.
uh, existed in the ancient time. Anyway, but uh, what you really are,
Yeah.
how you know yourself, that's most important thing.
And they say that, like,
Sometimes you try to know through your work, but sometimes you have to know yourself
yeah. In
without
fact,
anything.
that famous saying, the unexamined life is
Yeah,
not worth living.
absolutely. We need to examine, and also try to correct our mistakes.
Yeah.
There are a lot of people, they think mistakes ho gaya, chhod do.
छोड़ दो, but
No, how you
नहीं.
can correct it in
Yes.
the future?
Otherwise,
That's
there's
very
no end.
important.
It means the lesson hasn't been learned.
Yeah,
If you
true.
keep thinking ki chalo, it means you're okay with it. It's, you don't even actually
Yeah.
consider it a mistake. So, Gautam, what is the most difficult or challenging film you've made so far, either emotionally or logistically?
I think all my films are challenging, but I tell you one film I made in Bangladesh and also in West Bengal in 1991 92, quite a celebrated film.
Mm.
Bengali name is Padma Nadir Majhi, means boatman of Padma, river Padma. It was so difficult because we worked with combined crew and actors from India and from Bangladesh, and we shot in monsoon. And just imagine we were shooting in turbulent Padma, and in those days there was no special effects, nothing. Everything we had to do physically. Whatever, even Shabana and Nasir
Mm.
crossed the river in Paar. That
Yeah.
was physical. That was physical. Uh, so there, we were working in turbulent Padma uh, on a stormy day, and most of the unit members from Calcutta who came, they didn't know swimming. Just imagine. So my producer in Bangladesh said, "My God, tomorrow I'll make an insurance for them."
Oh my
So it
God.
was such a tension. Even some of the actors, they didn't know swimming, but for me it was a madness that I have to shoot the scene
Yeah.
properly. I had to shoot the scene. I said, "Look, you do this, otherwise I'll throw you in this turbulent
Yeah.
Padma."
To threaten them.
So sometime, you become crazy while
Yeah.
making the film,
That's what
while
I,
shooting.
yeah.
And then it was very difficult because we had to cover all the seasons because of the magnanimity of the film. It's
Mhm.
a huge canvas.
Mm.
And it was really very difficult. And it's costume, it's decor, props, everything we had to kit. And I did, we did the out because for that co-production contract, that shooting expenses should be more or less same in both the countries. It's a government of India and Bangladesh government contract.
Mm.
So I planned in such a way that entire fishing village will built here near Ganges. I just gauged the width of Ganges here and Padma there. So we selected a place. So here, all the shots inside, all the drama, all the action inside the village, inside the fishing village or fishing basti they call, took place in India, and immediate continuity when they go out was shot in Bangladesh. That was shot earlier in
Mm.
Bangladesh.
Mm.
So keeping that continuity in two places was so difficult. And that's why there was a big news that Goutam Ghosh could manage to mix Padma and Ganga together.
Ah.
It was a very challenging
Yeah.
film indeed. And with Utpal Dutt, is a great actor. He was not well, and I shot him with him in a very difficult location in the mouth of the Bay of Bengal. It was very, very difficult indeed. But I mean, every film,
I think it's interesting to note that with doing such challenging films, at the end of it, it seems like these have shaped you into the personality you've become. Because there is no trace of bitterness, of just, feeling tired and fed up. In fact, even doing, and I know for a fact that all of your films are just so physically challenging.
yeah,
It's like if, as an audience, we feel the strain of walking through the journey to create that, it's really quite. Uh, I mean, it's beyond, I think, what one can think about how much the effort is in making this. And still, you don't seem to be burdened by that whole,
no,
by
no.
taking on these journeys.
Uh,
You've shaken it off and you seem to, in fact, be energized, more energized from that experience, which allows you to feel so youthful, so current in whatever the time and the generation.
it's true, it's a kind of energy tablet. Each and every adventure,
And
and
still, most would resist this tablet
yeah,
greatly. Most would
you
not
know,
take this tablet.
no, I always welcome, this challenge. And also, it's my duty. Suppose in the film you had seen the day before
Yeah.
that I wanted to sort of make a journey from the sources of Narmada all along the Narmada Valley,
Mm.
as if with me, my audience is also traveling.
Yes.
So,
They do.
for that, you have to do hard work
Yeah.
to bring it on the screen. So, hard work of cinema is, where it's a very physical work and mental work. A lot of people ask me how you handle camera and sort of direct your actors. And it's been my habit right from the beginning. So I have no different identity as a cameraman or a director. It's combined.
Mm.
But there are so many good films where director, cameraman are separate and they did wonderful job. But it became my habit right from the beginning. I did most, and now, of course, in this film, my son has become a brilliant cameraman. He became the co-DOP in this film. So that helped me a lot
Mm.
because certain shots, which in 35 millimeter, I could do it in those time. Now with the gimbal, the way my son can run with the camera, I
Yeah.
can't
Yeah.
because physically you can't.
Of course.
You can't do it so well,
Yeah.
but he did it so well.
Mm.
So it's a good combination.
Mm.
Uh, so I think it's a great adventure, and after that, it's like, and I've more or less noticed one film project takes almost 10 months to finish, like a,
But they're very fast, very quick.
10 months more on an average, 10 months to complete a project. It's like giving birth to a baby.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, almost giving birth to a
Yeah.
baby.
Yeah.
And that is very, very satisfying. What happens to a mother
Yes.
after the childbirth?
Yes.
She goes to a heaven,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yes.
After such pain,
Yes.
she goes to heaven.
Yes.
It's filmmaking is like that. After, if you deliver a good baby, that's, my God,
And I
you're
think
done.
that's the beauty of the thing, that when a mother chooses to have a baby, she doesn't think of all the pain she's going to endure.
Absolutely.
And once the baby is born, there's so much of joy
So much
that the
of joy.
pain is forgotten, that whatever
Absolutely
one
true. It's like that.
endures. Yeah.
Filmmaking is like that.
Yeah.
You forget, my God.
Yeah.
I remember in this film, while taking a shot, I slipped from a cliff and almost broke my leg. Anyway, somehow it was not so fatal. But uh, now, as you said, now I remember. I've completely forgotten.
Yeah.
Suddenly it came to my mind. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I think that's so much part of the process with which you strengthen yourself. So many people, I feel, keep themselves weak because they're just so scared by the idea of how many hardships they would have to face along the way. And in the end, anyway, they're mentally unhappy because they didn't take the they didn't take the journey.
Yeah,
And here, so I think this is a kind of thing for everyone to think of, that taking the journey is always
absolutely.
better,
And you
even if
learn,
it's
you
hard. You
learn.
learn.
I really believe in quest.
Yes.
Quest, I think quest is a part of human civilization
Mm.
since millennium. Quest. You see, all our great saints like Guru Nanak or Raja Rammohn Roy in Bengal, or Muhammad or Christ, they made huge travel. So quest is a part of human
In
race.
fact, probably that's the reason for our living, for our existence.
Exactly. Now, of course, you get to know everything through the information system. But besides, it's a great help. Besides, you need your own quest,
Yeah.
maybe aided by other technical things.
Yes, for sure.
But, the
But you're
attitude,
the seeker.
but
Yeah,
internally,
yeah.
the quest should be there.
Yeah. In fact, my most favorite oil painter, he's from Norwegian background. His name is Odd Nerdrum.
Yeah.
And his quote, which has always stayed with me, is that I wasn't born to be entertained. I was born to be recognized.
Oh,
And, I really contemplated this and I said, that's the truth of life. Today,
exactly.
as a society, we are being separated into the consumers and creators.
Yeah.
That those who really want to live a meaningful life, an authentic life, and those who are working but just to consume, just to get lost, just to avoid
They're not,
life.
I think, maybe that's their game, their cup of tea. But, I think hardly they're enjoying.
Yeah. They're numbing themselves. They
Yes.
work hard. Then on the weekend, it's like just have a few drinks, just
Yeah.
try to escape life rather than engage with life.
No, I have many friends in the corporate world. They say that, Gotanda, why don't you make a film about the corporate fatigue? I think it's a very interesting idea.
Yes.
Corporate fatigue, and you have to finish this target. And a couple
I think
told
it
me,
would be so relevant
very
because
relevant. A
it's
couple told me, look, we after a long time, very hard work, they're very successful. Somehow we managed to have a holiday in a fantastic resort in Maldives. But there, hardly we spoke to each other
everybody's
because
just,
we had to, both of us had to fulfill our target. Always we were with the computer, maybe
yeah.
with a little dinner and all that in the beach and all that.
Mm,
So it's a very interesting subject, the
yeah.
corporate fatigue. And uh, uh, in the process, the companies are also losing.
Yeah.
What they are losing? The quality of work.
Yes.
So many companies, a big corporate CEO told me, Mr. Ghosh, we are also losing.
Yeah.
So you have to balance because you cannot make this slogan 24/7.
No, no, you can't.
Impossible.
Impossible.
24/7 is
And
not
it's not
possible.
even appropriate because
So,
there's no downtime.
yeah. So I think, human race uh, uh, in this process will understand that, we have to keep balance.
Yeah.
Balancing is very important.
If you had to recommend one film, one book, and one piece of music that define your artistic sensibility, what would they be?
Very difficult. Well, for the students of cinema, I would recommend one book which inspired me and taught me a lot. That is Cinema as a Graphic Art by Vladimir Nilsson. The book was out of stock for many years, but I think now it's available. And one music, if you say it, is also a very difficult question. But I think when I was 15, 16, first time I heard Beethoven's Fifth Symphony, remained in my mind forever. One film also very difficult because I was inspired by so many filmmakers. But something unique I like in Akira Kurosawa's Rashomon, plurality of vision, the way he treated the film. Because yes, I was talking about in particular eclectic vision
Yeah,
of images.
yeah.
but plurality of vision. One thing, one murder was seen by different people from different angle and different interpretation,
Mm,
which in my mind is an incredible work of cinema.
mm.
So that's all. It's very difficult
I
because
know.
there's so
It's so
many films.
limiting
Yeah,
also
yeah, yeah,
that when life has so many dimensions to break it down into
yeah.
one, but sometimes you do that. On this journey, what would you say have been the biggest sacrifices that you've made in order to do the work you do?
Of course, uh, I did sort of make some sacrifice in order to make films. Once I thought of becoming a musician, uh, I didn't learn music so well. Of course, what I do is a very functional music for my film, but music is something I really it's inside my soul. That was a sacrifice, of course. Well, I could have make a more comfortable living for my family, more luxurious living for my family. But my wife, my children, they are bindas. So no, no, no. What you are, you are. So sometime I regret. It could have been a sacrifice. Otherwise, I'm a happy person. I try to become always happy. Yeah.
Also, another thing is in this profession, especially or probably in most professions, if one chooses to be that engaged, you have to live with perpetual discomfort. Like all the time, there'll be some news that throws you off that you have to reconsider, reposition. So, with this constant discomfort, how do you deal with it? How do you bring a sense of ease and okayness with this forever changing
Because,
landscape?
I have seen the media since the beginning of my film career.
Mm.
Uh, the media has changed with the change of time, the change of socioeconomic system, and really it has become a manufacturing consent that you have to understand that it is manufacturing consent. Don't go to that slippery slope. Avoid. Be quiet. Don't react. This is something is very important.
Mm.
And discomfort. Sometimes you feel that uh, the way you tried to make a film, it was not accepted by people. Well, it's a discomfort,
Mm.
but that discomfort is part of the game, the
Mm.
rules of the game of
Mm.
cinema.
Mm.
Cinema is highly speculative business.
Mm.
Despite this speculation, wonderful films were made. It's not a otherwise the it's with the fall of index and share index and all that, you cannot compare. There are areas of discomfort, but still with the discomfort you can reach to your goal. So those discomfort, and also you have to be very active, like the actors. Sometimes
Yeah.
they have diet and all that. I know
Yeah.
many actors I've worked with, and for some actors, they prepared themselves for the film, as Nasir did for Par. He lost 8 to 9 kgs of weight for my film.
And he
Got
was and he
tan.
was not overweight to begin with.
No,
So that was a
no, but to come to that look of that
yeah.
character.
Yeah.
So that's a kind of a discomfort,
Yeah.
sacrifice in a way.
Yeah.
So it's there in filmmaking, in every department,
Mm.
but you have to overcome it.
Mm.
And unless you go through discomfort, you never understand what is comfort.
What would you consider the threats of advancement, AI, technology?
Well, scientists and technologists, they work so hard to find something. Even many people have spent years together to dissect a molecule,
Yeah.
to dissect or find a particular molecule essential to create a composition, chemical composition. But the point is, my fear is, also we have witnessed, if the advancement, if it goes to the wrong hand, the people with negative emotion, that could be dangerous for humanity, for the world, for the nature, for ecology, for the environment. It's very, very important. So I don't know how to stop it, because once you bring out something new, it will go in the market. I think I don't know the human race how can handle this situation, this dichotomy in a way. How I don't know, but Ustad Bismillah Khan told me a very interesting story that science का कमाल है, fantastic science. क्या 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 स्विच बटन दबाओ पंखा चलेगा, बटन दबाओ लाइट चलेगा, बट एक चीज होना चाहिए, काइंड ऑफ ए सेफ गार्ड. सब दबाने से नहीं चलेगा. जो सुरेला आदमी मीन्स गुड पीपल, वो दबाने से चलेगा. So he was thinking, it was very symbolic.
Yeah.
It has, but I think, this is something very important, and also people all over the world are thinking about how you control nuclear weapons and things like that. And I can tell you, do you have a little time? I can tell you a very
Yeah,
interesting
please.
anecdote,
Please.
In 1924, D.W. Griffith, great American filmmaker who made Birth of Nation, Intolerance, he was a mentor. He wrote a book in 1824, no, sorry, 1924, Movies 100 Years from Now. Just we crossed 100 years over. There, he was a dreamer. He says that this medium is so universal, it will unite the brotherhood of human being all over the world. How? People from remote South Africa can come to know about Japanese. Japanese can come to know about North American. North American come to know about Indian through cinema, because it's so physical. You can show
And the
everything.
whole stories of how people live and
Yes, how
think,
people live. So
express are told.
you cinema could really create fraternity of the world. Universal brotherhood. And after that, he said, and eventually there will be no war. That was his dream. But after Griffith, after 24, we had witnessed, before that we witnessed First World War, then we witnessed Second World War, destructive Second World War, many other wars, bombing of Hiroshima, and it's going on and on and on. Many proxy wars is going on and on and on. So his idea was a kind of an utopia. So I think it's a big challenge. He was a dreamer. He thought that this media, but media couldn't change the human race. Only I said the media could record the memories of time since then.
Yeah.
And we filmmakers all over the world, we have been stitching a long garland of memories,
Yes.
all of us.
Thank you so much, Gautam, for an extremely profound and a conversation that makes us think, reflect on on ourselves. Because I think each one of us is trying to find ways to construct ourselves, to understand ourselves better. And through following you, your journey, understanding your perceptions, understanding what makes you you, has been such an interesting, engaging, and inspiring journey. Thank you so much for
I
this.
must thank you too.
Although we still have one concluding question for you, and that is, all this has been a little heavy duty,
Yeah.
like intense questioning. To end on a lighter note, we'd be interested in knowing what relaxes you. What are your passions, your interests out of besides filmmaking?
I love cooking, and I love, sort of feeding people with all kinds of cuisine. Wherever I go all over the world, I learn local cuisine. So I love cooking, and cooking is like almost like filmmaking. How much spices you give,
Hmm?
how much salt,
How much heat?
what's the time of heating, everything, and it's like filmmaking. And finally, the product comes. Okay, and sense of proportion is the most important thing in cooking.
Yes.
So I found it in filmmaking. Another thing, architecture
Hmm.
is also like filmmaking because when I'm a filmmaker, I think everything is like filmmaking.
Naturally.
Architecture, I love architecture. As Goethe said, architecture is a frozen music. It's true. It's a frozen
Yes.
music.
Yes.
So when I built a house near Tagore University in Shantiniketan, uh, it's a beautiful place, and I was there despite my work engagement. I was there with the young architect. This was and that house was her debut work, but she was so energetic and involved. So what we planned, I said, no, I don't want to do what they call
Uh,
vastu.
yeah.
I said, no, I don't want to do that formal vastu.
Mm.
Let's go there and observe life because I'm a cameraman. Observe life from every corner, the sun, how it can enter, the wind. So we plan our windows like that. Space of uh, I like Sufi space of Mughal architecture, which is space. If you go to the Fatehpur Sikri or elsewhere,
Hmm.
you find space. That is very important. That's
Very.
why I thought Mohar, name of that girl, uh, try to create space. So brick by brick, day by day, I was there, just like filmmaking, to make it a beautiful house where you can stay, enjoy, and live with peace.
Yeah.
And each and every detail were planned. Of course, my wife and children and others had given inputs, but that is also my passion, architecture. I love architectural drawing, and sometimes I also get annoyed with horrible architecture, so homogeneous architecture in our cities
Hmm.
because they all look alike. We lost the character of each city. Pune had a
Yeah.
character,
Yeah.
so was
It's all
Mumbai.
just becoming one.
Oh,
The whole world, even. I mean,
it's so
forget a city.
homogeneous, it's
Yeah.
same, look
Yeah.
alike.
Yeah.
But some architectures still, the
Yeah.
architect, they do something
Yeah.
with imagination. But also very important. Also, you have to uh, understand nature and light and everything.
Mm.
Those elements, those five elements, are very important for architecture. It's very simple. You put glass panes all over and make a centralized AC. Okay, fine. It's one kind, but there are many other kinds which has space, which has real happiness.
Yes.
I think that's really I love architecture and everything. Everywhere with the architecture, cooking, I find a simile with cinema,
Yeah.
cinema
Yeah.
making.
This is, I think, how true and committed and surrendered you are to a form that everything else in your life sort of starts to connect with that fundamental idea
That's
and
it.
commitment.
तू है निरंकार ये रचो ये संसार माने तू you are nirankar. There's no image, no shape. It's huge space. And sometime when I think about our blue planet from outside, it's such a tiny one in this galaxy, in this
Mm.
huge universe. And think, my God, here's why people are fighting in such a small, little, tiny planet. The rest of the places are eternal,
Yeah.
ethereal.
Mhm.
Anyway, uh, we let's dream for better world, better environment, and sustainable development.
Thank you so much, Gautam, once again for all the wisdom, the vision, and the imagination you bring to us.
Oh,
We are so thankful.
thank you very much, Chandana, for your very, thoughtful questions and understanding. Thank you very
It's been
much.
such a pleasure. Thank you.